A lot of reaction coming in all around the world after the breakthrough in nuclear talks between the United States and Iran. America's closest ally in the Middle East, Israel, remains vehemently opposed to the deal. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu summoning Israel's top security officials into a meeting earlier today, saying the proposal threatens Israel's survival.
Israel will not accept an agreement which allows a country that vows to annihilate us to develop nuclear weapons, period. In addition, Israel demands that any final agreement with Iran will include a clear and unambiguous Iranian commitment of Israel's right to exist.
Look at this here. Quite a different response in reaction in Iran, where people there took to the streets, honking their horns, getting out and dancing in celebration. The president of Iran sounding optimistic in public. Jim Sciutto has more on what this proposal could mean to a country that has been isolated from the world for nearly 40 years and where the three Americans are still held. Jim.
Well, Brooke, I'll tell you, from an American perspective, a lot of people back home look at this as sort of a dry diplomatic deal. They see the Iran issue largely through the prism of its nuclear program, and understandably, it's a big threat to U.S. interests in the region. It's the way we've been talking about this country for so long. When you go to Iran, though, yes, the nuclear program, very important to them. The Iranian people, they see it as a matter of pride. But this deal is about far more. This is about opening up Iran to the world again, Iran being something of a normal country, because under these economic sanctions and under this long history of disagreement and mistrust with the U.S., listen, in Iran today, to get in certain kinds of cars, they have to be smuggled in. You pay 2 to 3 times the price. It's hard to get chemotherapy drugs. If you're an Iranian student, to get visas to go to certain countries, very difficult. It just makes, in their view, a normal life not possible. And they see this opening up of relations with the U.S., the lifting of these sanctions over time, as truly not only opening their country, but opening up their futures. Dramatic. And that's why you've seen so much celebration there. Of course, enormous implications for the government as well, because it's been suffering under these economic sanctions, lost tens of billions of dollars in oil revenue, and so on. So politically, it's a major thing, too. But the other issue I'd mention in the relationship is this. Keep in mind that for all the celebration and achievement in Switzerland with this deal, you still have 3 Americans held in Iran on trumped-up charges, or really with no justification. Amir Hekmati is a former Marine accused of spying. Saeed Abedini, an American-Iranian pastor who's imprisoned there, and then Jason Rezaian, he's a Washington Post reporter, accused of spying as well. Their families not happy to see these negotiations go forward without the freedom of those Americans being granted. Of course, it's still possible, though. Perhaps it could come before or after a final agreement, but that's still a major source of tension between the U.S. and Iran. Brooke?